Hello, everyone. So one of my viewers asked a great question. I did mention in one of my other videos that I cold store most of my guns, right? Meaning that there's no heat, right? So basically, the temperature inside of the safe is the same as the temperature outside. So we've had temperatures drop down to like -5 degrees Fahrenheit this past week. I did a video a few days ago where I was shooting in 1 degree Fahrenheit. I mean, today it's warmed up to 32 degrees. So people have been asking me questions about how I care for the guns, what kind of lubricants I use. I did a video on cleaning and lubricating a few days ago. A quick recap. Generally, I do not clean the guns in the winter months. Okay, I mean AR-15s, they're good for like 700 plus rounds between cleanings, and even then it's really not an issue. Generally, I'll wait until the spring, and I use brake cleaner to clean them. Why? Because it's like $3.50 for a can. And as far as lubricating, I just use motor oil, right? Just because it's cheap. I mean, I got this can here free with a lawnmower like many years ago, and it works good. Engine oil is designed so engines can start up when it's like -5 degrees and when it's 90 degrees outside. So motor oil is really good. Transmission oil works fine. There's lots of other expensive stuff out there. And I wouldn't have a problem using it if if this wasn't working for me. Okay, so this is working for me. I generally, like in general, if something is working for me, I don't look for a more expensive solution, right? Basically, I don't go looking to fix things that are not broken. So motor oil is working just fine for me. The thing I said in one of the videos is like, don't over oil it, because when you start getting the gun hot, you'll start smelling it and tasting it. So just put a little bit of that motor oil on there. If you're using like the Remington gun oil, the spray, yeah, you can soak the thing, and that you're not going to smell it or taste it. But it's more expensive. It's like something like $8 a can. So I've used both, and I just have not found a good reason to pay $8 a can for Remington gun oil when this stuff here works just fine. Okay, so I mean, that's just me. That's just how I think. Okay? So as far as storing the guns, like I said, they're in safes, right? The temperature inside the safe is the same as the temperature outside. In the winter months, I do have in the safe year round these portable dehumidifiers from Remington. You just plug this into an outlet. It basically takes a charge. What it does is it heats this up so that these little crystals on the inside, when this thing heats up, they'll dry up. Like you'll see the crystals turn blue. Okay. When they get wet, they'll turn pink in the window. Now, both of these are pink. The reason is because in the wintertime, I don't even really bother heating those up. All right, because what I have found by using humidity testers is the humidity in the wintertime when it gets really cold drops down to something like 60% or something. I mean, when it's below freezing, right? Any dampness in the air tends to freeze up. Okay, that's what happens to that dampness. It freezes up. So through the winter months, I really don't get too crazy with these things. In the other 3 seasons, spring, summer, fall, right? What I will do is I have 2 of these in each safe, and what I'll do is they're usually both in there, but if I see that one is turning pink, what I'll do is I'll plug this into the outlet, let that sit overnight. Then the next day I'll throw this one into the safe. Then I'll take the next one that next day, charge this one up, right? Dry this one up, and the following day I'll put this in the safe. So I'll have both of them in the safe through the 3 seasons where the humidity is usually higher, and that works. That works just fine. I have a number of safes, lots of different guns. Now, I train people. I'm a full-time gun instructor. I train people year-round. I mean, if I meet people at someplace where it's just pouring that day, these guns will get soaking wet. Okay, Now, I'm not concerned with military guns, right? Like AR-15s, AK-47s getting soaking wet. I'm not concerned other than if the temperature is going to drop at night, because here's the issue. You don't, if the gun gets soaking wet, all right, and then the temperature drops below freezing at night, the gun is going to freeze up. So that when you go to run your bolt, it's not going to move because there's ice in there, right? And then you basically just gotta, what I'll do is I'll put a hairdryer on the gun and just quickly thaw it out, and that's it. The gun's ready to work. Okay, so that's how I thaw out the guns. I just use a hairdryer. Okay, I keep one in the places everywhere where I have guns stored, and I have electricity. I keep a hairdryer so I can thaw the guns out if they ever get frozen. I've only a few times have I seen that issue, and it was typically a situation where it was raining during the daytime, temperature dropped, and it froze at night. Next day when I went to it was actually with AR-15s, I didn't have a problem running the boat, but the safety was frozen in place. The water underneath the safety had frozen in place, and I couldn't move it. And I just put a hairdryer on it for like 30 seconds, and the gun was good to shoot. Okay. One of the things you just want to be careful of is don't let water go down your barrel. If I think that if the guns get soaked, I will typically store them like this, pointing down, so that the water drips out. Okay, so that's one of the important things that I watch for. I make sure I do not get water in the barrel, or if there is, I'll just let it drip out. If I think that there's any chance that water might have frozen up inside the barrel, I'll just hold the gun like this, put a hairdryer on the barrel, just warm it up enough so to make sure that the water just runs out. Okay, so easy stuff. Like I said, these guns do get rained on. They do get snowed on, and in general, it's not a big deal. My concern is, again, with the military guns, AK-47s, AR-15s. I'm really not concerned about those guns getting wet because, I mean, basically these guns are built to be water, to be water resistant. Let's put it that way. This gun over here, this lower receiver actually was originally on an AR-15 where I shot out the barrel. Okay, so it did something like 22,000 rounds. I did a video on that. Okay, so the gun went back because it had a lifetime warranty. The gun went back to Radical Firearms, and what they did is they gave me a whole new gun with the exception of the lower receiver. Okay, because that's the part with the serial number. So this lower receiver here is probably now up to about 30,000 rounds. So you can see kind of like some scratches and wear and tear on it, and it's aluminum. It doesn't matter. I mean, aluminum is generally rust resistant, right? So this gun's done lots of miles. It's at least the lower receiver is at least like 7-8 years old at this point. So not a big deal, right? And you can see, like, I can see all the parts that have scratches, like there's no rust or anything. The barrel, the barrels are usually coated with either nitrate or phosphate, or what's the other one they use? They parkerize it. So the barrels are generally coated, so rust is not an issue on the barrels. So it's really not an issue. The issue that I'm somewhat like careful of is if I throw these guns in the safe wet, there's other guns in there that are not military guns that might not be as rust resistant. So I'll give you an example. Like this 38 Special over here, right? This is not a military gun. I mean, it's got some bluing on it. And this is a gun that I don't shoot, like I hardly ever shoot, okay? But I did shoot it at some point. I was shooting it, and I can see that near the front here, the bluing has kind of come off a little bit. So there's no rust in the areas where the bluing has come off. So that kind of tells me that the storage precautions that I take in the summer, fall, and spring of using these things in the safe, it's been working good, right? Because this one is actually one of my first guns, not the first gun, but I mean this gun is at least 15 years old. So when I first moved out to PA, this is one of the first guns I got. Not the first gun, but one of the first guns. This is also another very early gun. Okay, so for a long time I was using this Ruger Mark III to train people. So this one over here probably has close to 100,000 rounds on it. I did have another one that also had 100,000 rounds on it. On that one, even with the 22 long rifle, the chamber had actually stretched a little bit over the 100,000 rounds. So that went into Ruger under their warranty. And they ended up replacing the gun. They gave me a Mark IV. This one probably has a little bit less of a count, so this one's still okay. I don't use it that often. But the point is that the reason I'm bringing this out is because this is one of my earliest guns. It's at least 15 years old. And this one, you can see over here, the bluing over the years has kind of come off. So if rust was going to accumulate anywhere, it would be in these areas where the bluing has kind of come off. And that's just from like when I basically in and out of the safe. You just, because the safe has like a carpet, and for I guess for a long time I was just kind of like throwing it on the surface. And that's, that's the area that was hitting the carpeting on the shelf that I was putting it on, and the bluing came off. And there's no rust there, and I haven't shot this now in, and I mean, I haven't used this really to train people in at least 6 years at this point. Like I'll occasionally shoot it just for the hell of shooting it, and it works fine. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is the gun sits there, and using the method I told you guys, it doesn't accumulate rust, because guns are for the most part rust resistant. Okay, like even the old ones, they were kind of built to be, somewhat rust resistant. Oh, here, check out the back strap over here. You can see all the bluing came off of that. Now that might be stainless steel. In fact, I suspect that this gun is some type of a stainless steel alloy, which is the reason why it's not rusting, right? It's got a little bit of chromium in that, probably mixed in there. I mean, I don't know if it's a true stainless steel, but because stainless steel is basically, iron, and you add chromium to it, right? You're mixing chromium at the forgery. They mix in chromium to it. So there's different levels that they can add to get it to the actual level of stainless steel. So I mean, it really doesn't matter. But the point is that it seems to be rust resistant. All right, and this is an area where people would grip it, and there'd be like oils and sweat on it and stuff like that. In over 15 years, there's really no rust there. So it's fair to say that guns in general, unless you got something like like a black powder replica, they're generally rust resistant. Here's another one. This one's got, I built this back like in 2020. This one's got something like this P80 Glock clone Gen 3. It's got something like 10,000 rounds on it. I use this to train people. And if you get the original original Glock barrels, they do like a monolith. So they treat the barrels in such a way that like the paint, like the coloring doesn't come off. So those barrels are like absolutely like rust resistant. This one is a cheaper barrel, so you can see with the 10,000 rounds, there is a little discoloration, and yet there's really no rusting there. And again, because there's probably, there's probably some chromium in there. It's probably some type of it's probably like closer to stainless steel than iron. Okay. So no rust on this. I already showed you guys this one over here is the one that the lower did 22,000 rounds. So this one's up to like 30. The low's up to about 30,000 rounds on this. So this barrel's only done about 5,000 rounds now. So yeah, the barrel's fine. The Lynx 12. This Lynx 12 here has about 15,000 rounds on it. So this is definitely something that like it's a throw around beater gun for clay disc shooting. It's been in and out of the rain. So this is definitely a gun that like I don't like I'm not like overly cautious about not getting wet. And where's this is Romanian AK-47. This one's got like 10,000 rounds on it. don't let anybody tell you that AKs are indestructible, because within those 10,000 rounds, I did break the muzzle device, the slant over here. It did crack on me, I guess, from the vibration. So I had to replace that, and I did break the recoil spring. Okay, that's on the inside. You know, within those 10,000 rounds, like closer to like maybe around 9,000 rounds, I broke that. So don't let anybody tell you that AK-47s are indestructible, because once that recoil spring broke, the gun couldn't work, right? Because it needs that spring. So the gun was basically shut down until I got another recoil spring in there. I actually think that the buffer springs in the AR-15s are a lot tougher. Okay, so because I've never ever broken a buffer spring on an AR-15. Okay, I did break the spring on this AK-47, but anyway, got about 10,000 rounds on it. I was probably cleaning this like every 3,000 rounds. Okay, like basically I don't clean the guns until like I look at it, and it's like if I see shit falling out of it, like I'm like, okay, or if I run the charging handle and I feel extra resistance, that's generally when I clear the gun, when I clean the gun. Okay, so I've not had an issue with, you know, with cleaning this every 3,000, 4,000 rounds. And usually, I think the only reason why I did clean it is as a demonstration. Like I had to show people, you know, I want to show people the internals and how I clean it and that kind of stuff. That's the only reason why I even bothered to clean this. But anyway, with the 10,000 rounds on this, plus in and out of the rain, there's plenty of scratches. But again, it's probably some type of a stainless steel alloy that they use. You know, not true stainless steel, but there's probably some chromium in there, because it's got no rust on it. And this thing is definitely, you can see the inside over there. So guns are generally pretty rust, you know, fairly rust resistant. Okay, so I don't think that's something that you need to overthink. I mean, I think that like if there's any dampness, I mean, having two of these guys over here and just like rotating these in, I think that will give you more than adequate protection from moisture. And in the wintertime, it's even less of an issue, because any moisture in the air just freezes up. So if it's below freezing, I mean, I don't even really bother to plug these guys in. You know, I just, you know, until we get to the spring, I'm probably not going to bother charging the humidifiers up. So anyway, I'm not saying that this is the absolute correct way to do it, but this is how I do it, and it works for me. It's been working for 15 years. So you can take that information and you know use it any way you can, okay, or discard it if you wish. So thanks for watching. Drop some comments. I'll talk to you all soon.